Hello and welcome to my channel, Talisman Tarot. In this reading I want to ask the cards and Spirit directly through channeling about what the person on your mind's first impression of you was. And I also want to ask how this impression has changed over time. And I have 5 groups that you can choose from. This will be group number 1, this will be group number 2, this will be group number 3, this will be group number 4, and this will be group number 5. So I will ask you to use your intuition and choose the group that speaks to you the most, the group that catches your eye, and that group will be your group. And if you need any more time to choose, you can just pause the video. But if you don't need any more time, then just head down to the description box below and find the timestamp for your particular group and click on that, and your reading should appear in front of you. And while you're down there in the description box below, make sure to check out my guide on how to book a personal reading from me. I love doing personal readings for you guys. It's always a pleasure. So please check that out. And yeah, pick your group and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, group number 1. You chose this Tarot of a Moon Garden tarot deck, and I'm going to start with some channeling. And then I'm going to shuffle the cards for you. So I'm going to do the channeling now. So Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 1, the people who will choose group number 1? What was the person on group number 1's mind? What was this person's first impression of group number 1? Okay, so I'm sensing that this person found you to be very captivating at first. I think this person saw you as very beautiful, very cute, very attractive, and I think this person saw you as maybe a bit out of their league. So I think, and even if this is not a romantic connection that you're asking about, or someone that you're interested in that way, I still think this person kind of saw you as intimidating, that there was something about you that seemed very unattainable in a way, that this person couldn't really picture themselves talking to you, or even like, because I feel like when this person saw you first, you two didn't talk. Or didn't talk right away. So this person saw you from afar, and from afar this person just assumed that you didn't want to talk to them because you weren't the type of person who would talk to them, or something like that. So there's definitely something about like this person's first impression of you was that you were very beautiful, but unattainable, out of their league, and that they couldn't picture themselves hanging out with you, because they wouldn't think you would want to. Like they imagine that you probably, they imagined at that time that you probably had other, like I feel like this person maybe saw you talk to some other friends or something like that, and maybe this person just assumed that you were in a very close friend group or something, and that you probably weren't looking for any more members in that friend group or something like that. I don't know. So I'm going to shuffle and see what the cards have to say about what this person's first impression was of you. Page of Staffs, which is Page of Wands. This person saw you as very confident, I think. I think this person got the sense that you were, like, even if you don't really picture yourself as confident. Like maybe you don't really see that other people could imagine that. Maybe that seems a bit foreign to you, that people see you that way. But this person saw you as very confident, and I think that was also what made them feel a bit intimidated by your energy, because it seemed like you had everything going for you, like everything, like that you seemed very content in your body and in yourself and and that you also just seemed very very, maybe this person kind of felt like you were the type of person who wouldn't bat an eye if you had to reject someone, like if you had to, and maybe that was what this person was afraid of, that you would reject them, or that you would say something that would insinuate that you don't want to talk to them, or something like that. That this person felt that you might as if that this was their first impression of you, and their first impression was maybe that you could be the type of person who would bluntly, boldly say that you don't want to talk to them, or that, and I don't think that's true actually, but I think this person just assumed that from how you interacted with your other friends. Like this person might have kind of spied on you with your other friends, and so this person might have seen you as very relaxed around your friends. Maybe you kid around your friends, and so maybe they are in on the joke, but from the outside point of view, it seems like you're maybe very blunt with them and very direct with them, but they understand it because it's maybe an inside joke actually. Maybe it's not really what it seems from the outside. So yeah. I'm gonna shuffle a bit more about what this person's first impression of you was. Okay, the Tower. Actually, I'm not going to read this as the Tower, or I might later, but what I always think about when I see this card is legs, because it's like that is very much what's in the focus in this card. It seems like it pops out. So yeah, I think this person's first impression of you might have been that you just have very good legs, like very long legs. That this might be something they noticed right away, and so it might, like, of course that's not a first impression, but it's a part of a bigger picture, or like not a bigger picture, but a picture of who you are, and I think this person just saw you and saw your body. Maybe this person noticed your body first, and then they noticed all your mannerisms and how you behaved around your friends and all of that. But I think, yeah, this person saw that you had very, very pretty legs, and so I think that's something. You might also have worn something that showed your legs, like you might have worn shorts or a skirt or something, so your legs were maybe visible, and so yeah. But I'm gonna shuffle a bit more about what this person's first impression of you was. 8 of Wands reversed. So this person, like, this is about this is about swift communication. It's about yeah, and when it's reversed, it's about swift communication when it's upright, but it came out reversed, and so it's the opposite of that. And so I think this person assumed when they first met you that you're maybe the type of person who, well, probably wouldn't communicate with them, but that you might also be the type of person who would maybe ghost them, or even like or the type of person who would start texting with you, but then never text back, like at some point, and then they would just not hear from you again. And yeah, that's the same thing as ghosting. Yeah, I know, but yeah, I'm gonna shuffle some of, like, and it's not like I feel like, don't take this the wrong way that this person saw you as a bit unavailable and a bit unattainable and a bit reserved and slightly aloof and like you didn't really but I feel like this is the first impression, so this is how they assumed, and I think you should actually take this as a compliment, because I think it's just because you are very attractive, and so this person has just, like, this at first this person just put you in a category where I think this person, the person that you're asking, I think this person is a bit, I wouldn't say insecure, because I don't think this person is insecure, but they are protective of themselves, and they know who are most likely to be a threat to them, or the people who are most likely to be mean to them. And I think this probably stems from their childhood, where maybe they were bullied in school, and maybe they were bullied by some type of people who might have looked a bit like you. So this person has created this defense mechanism where they kind of freeze every time they see someone that looks slightly like the people who bullied them when they were younger, and so I think you probably did give them that reaction when they first met you, that you were very beautiful, and that was why you would probably be a threat to them, because you're beautiful, because you're the type of person who used to be mean to them, like this person just put you in a category without knowing you, just based on your appearance. And this person does that in order to protect themselves. They kind of go a circle around a type of person, and that's usually very pretty people. And and in a way I feel like it's kind of funny, or not funny, but it's kind of strange, I guess, that this person feels that way, because I think, like, objective, or if this person was somebody else, and like if this person was in another body, like if this person was another person and they were looking at themselves from another body, from another person, like then they would probably put themselves into that same category as the category, in the same category that they are avoiding. So because I feel like the person that you're asking about is actually not bad looking themselves, like quite the opposite. So yeah, but yeah, I think this person just has this defense mechanism. They don't like it to be, when, like, they are afraid of yeah, a special a special type of people, like the people who are too pretty or too popular or too confident or too like yeah. But I'm gonna shuffle a bit more about their first impression of you. So with the Teacher card reversed, I think I'm gonna shuffle one more card about what their first impression was of you. Okay. Okay, with the Teacher card reversed, the first impression of you might have been that, and this is like, don't take this the wrong way, because I think this is just their way of just putting people in categories, and that like this person needs to. In a way, this person's coping or this person's defense mechanism is to create a stereotype and fitting people into that stereotype so that they know how to avoid or how to navigate the world or navigate the people around them, and so they in a way, especially when this person met you the first time, they were very much judging the book by the cover, and yes, it's a protective shield that they and all of that, but it can of course sound a bit offensive, but this person doesn't mean it in a bad way, and this is just how they think, and I think a lot of people think the same way, so don't judge this person for making this assumption. But this person might have assumed from looking at you, like their first impression of you was physical. They didn't talk to you right away when they first met you. They just saw you from the other side of the room or something like that, and so they just looked at you, looked at your appearance, looked at you, at how you so, and maybe you were dancing. I don't know, but I feel like some of you were maybe dancing at the time where this person built their first impression of you, that this person met you at a party. But that's of course only specific for some of you, I don't know. But this person might have assumed from the way you looked that you were probably not very smart. And I hate to say that, but it's just because this person has this misconception, or used to have this misconception. I don't know. I think this person might have changed their mind about you afterwards. I'm gonna go figure that out later. But they have this misconception that, or they used to have this misconception that if someone is pretty, they can't be smart at the same time. That's just not how the universe works, because one person cannot have these two major things that are that are advantages. Like a person needs to be born with either or, because if not, then it's just unfair in their mind, or this is how they used to think, at least. And again, it's kind of hypocritical, because it's just hypocritical without this person even knowing it. But I think they have kind of both themselves. Like, I think this person is quite smart, at least maybe with math and stuff like that. thinking logically, but maybe without having the best skills when it comes to navigating social things. But still smart on many topics, I think. So and they are pretty too. So they are even like not really fitting this strange logic that they've created about people, because this person is logical when it comes to numbers and stuff like that, things that actually are factual and can actually be proven. But when it comes to social stuff, they want to create a logical system in order to navigate it, because they think so logically that they need to create a system, and they need that system to be proven, but they can't really prove it. They have to constantly change it, because it seems, because people are super complicated, and it's just not very easy to make this logical system. But they try, and that a part of this person's system is that they believe that people are only supposed to have one advantage in life. So it's also with with humor, like that someone can't be both pretty and funny at the same time, can't be both smart and funny at the same time. That people can only be one of these, because if not, then the world is unfair. And yeah. So yeah, they might have assumed when they met you that you weren't maybe the smartest person. But yeah, with the Destroyer card, well, in a way, I think this person, this person's first impression of you was maybe that you were very outgoing, very like a bit of, like a volcano, kind of a very fiery energy, very bold and direct, and very like and very demanding of maybe like not a demanding energy, but like that you're just I don't know, but they might have just seen you this way at first, that you were like a bit I don't know, a bit of a firecracker, or I don't know what, but like very fiery, very very fierce, very bold, fierce. Yeah, with a trickster being reversed. I think this person assumed that that you were well, the thing is that this card here, it's a magician, and it came out reversed. And when I think of a magician, I think of one of those, like, or sometimes when I think of that sort of magician, you know, with the magic tricks and all of that, it's a kind, and now, like, I also put people in stereotypes, I know that, but yeah, there is a stereotype of people who used to do magic tricks when they were a child, and it's often maybe the more, I don't know, the more nerdy types, but that's, again, that's a very big stereotype. So I hope I'm not offending anyone by saying that. But yeah, it's kind of I think you also might agree with me that it's often a specific type of person. Like it just happens to be that way. Like I only know a few people in my life who used to do magic tricks when they were children or teenagers even, and they just have some features in common. Also in adult life, they still seem to be kind of the same type. Like I don't know, but this person, the person that you're asking about, I feel like this person could be the type of person who used to play around with magic tricks when they were younger. That this person liked to do card tricks and yeah, even like when they got older, they might have evolved from the magic tricks, the card tricks to what's it called, to party tricks, where they can kind of show off at parties by making bottle caps disappear or something like that. I don't know, but I think this person, like their first impression of you was maybe that you're very different from them, and that they are one type of person. They are maybe a bit more geeky, a bit more a bit more awkward, and they see you as someone who's the opposite of that. That you're not awkward, you're not geeky, you're probably that you're that if that makes sense. And also, like, they might have seen you as someone, like, even though like they see you as very different from themselves. I think they used to see you as very different from themselves as their first impression of you. But I think they also might have seen you as someone who is who's not standing out, because the trickster is kind of the in a way the odd man out, and it's like it's and it's also a Joker energy, and so it also makes me think that this person felt like, well, that you could potentially be that when they met you, because it's the opposite of the Joker, like the opposite of that Joker energy. And yeah, so I guess like now I'm just, my mind is just wandering over to the Joker movie and the Joker the Joker character, and in Batman, and I'm just thinking that that they saw you as the opposite of that, and maybe they might identify a bit more with the Joker than with other characters, maybe. So like they might see themselves as a bit of the odd man out, kind of an outsider energy that they put on themselves. Like they see themselves as the outsider. They see themselves as a bit strange and a bit weird, but they might look at you and see you as someone who's not weird, that you're very normal, or they used to see you that way as their first impression of you, that you're very, very normal, very mentally stable, seems, So yeah, that was the first impression, and I'm gonna I'm gonna keep them here, but I'm gonna move on to what their impression of you is now. If their impression of you has changed since then. Okay, so with the Four of Pentacles reversed, Four of Pentacles reversed, I think they see you now as I think at first they saw you like it's a bit. I know it seemed a bit strange about whether this person saw you as reserved, but also very confident. But of course, you can be confident and reversed at the same time. It needs a lot of confidence to actually be reserved, because if you lack confidence, the way you would go about that would be to kind of. I don't know, but I guess these are not two things that can't appear at the same time. So yeah, I was just trying to make sense of this. But with the Four of Pentacles reversed, I think this person's impression of you currently, their current impression of you is that you're much more friendly towards them than they thought you would be. That you're much more giving than they thought you would be. And also giving of yourself, that you give yourself over in, and I think this person didn't really expect that to happen at all. That you would actually be vulnerable towards them. Maybe I feel like you have maybe been vulnerable and shared some things that probably came as a surprise to them. They didn't expect that. With the Six of Cups reversed, this is a nostalgia card, and it's also a young card. It's a youth and nostalgia card, and well, there's also a wall here actually on the. Now I'm just gonna read the card because with the typical interpretation of this card, I can't really make it fit with what I'm thinking about. But when looking at the card, this is a wall, and I wouldn't associate a wall with Six of Cups to begin with. So I'm gonna read this kind of independently from the. But this card came out reversed, and so I think that this person feels like the guards are down, the wall is down, the wall that there is no wall. They assumed that there would be a wall because they assumed that you were a bit aloof and reserved towards other people than maybe your friends. Like maybe this person felt like you were only nice to or only I don't know, that you were different towards your friends than you were towards other people. And so that might also have been the reason why they felt like it would be hard to get into the inner circle, because it seemed like you had a lot of fun with them, but it's like every time somebody came in from the outside, it seemed like there was a guard. And I think this person realized, or has realized since then, that this guard is not up when it comes to them, that you're actually inviting this person in, and you're actually being very welcoming towards this person, more welcoming than they expected. But also I'm gonna also go with the basic interpretation of this card, because with it being youth and youth related, and it's reversed, I think this person might have expected you to be a bit more immature than they have learned afterwards. They thought maybe it was because they saw you dancing, and maybe they associate dancing with people that they associate the act of dancing as something that only young people do, and only immature people do. And I think this person is probably the type of person who does not want to dance when they go clubbing, or person probably doesn't go clubbing. But if this person goes to a bar that also has like a dance floor, they have floors, I know, but the dance floor, I mean, but if this person goes to that kind of bar, I think this person would just sit and talk, and they would just look at the people who dance on the dance floor and look at them kind of with maybe slight judgment, because it's maybe also a coping mechanism that they would rather just because maybe I feel like this person lacks the confidence to go out dancing. They don't like to look like an idiot, so they don't dance. And the way that they cope with the fact that they don't have the confidence to dance is to just say that everybody who dances are kind of silly, and that it's good that they actually don't participate in nonsense like that. So they just look down on it so that they can feel good about not taking part in it. So yeah. But yeah, they might have seen you as a bit immature or something like that because you were dancing, which is silly, but I think they have realized that afterwards, that was a silly thing to assume, because when they got to talk to you, they realized that you were actually very mature, and even more mature for your age, and that you actually seem to be an old soul. And I don't think this person expected that at all. That you probably know a lot about things, like historical things, things that I think there was just a conversation that you had with this person that made them realize that you were much more than they first thought you were. So yeah. But I think that's all I have for you, group number 1. I hope this reading was helpful. And if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 2. You chose the Mops Tarot deck. And I'm going to start with some channeling. And then I'm going to shuffle the cards for you. So I'm going to do the channeling first. So, Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 2? The people who will choose group number 2. I'm going to ask about the person on group number 2's mind. What was this person's first impression of group number 2? Okay, so I'm sensing that this person this person's first impression of you was that you were in a relationship, that you weren't available. Maybe this person, like, I feel like this person saw you at first and then thought you were very attractive, and maybe they even wanted to ask you out or something like that, but then they saw you with someone else and assumed that you were in a relationship with that person, and so I think that made them stop being interested. Like they kind of walked away, I feel like, or took at least a step back because they realized that you were occupied or something like that. But I don't know if you were in a relationship at the time. I feel like for some of you, you were probably in a relationship at the time, but for others of you, I think you might have just had a very close friend that you were hanging out with, and I think this person might have misunderstood the situation, or kind of maybe read too much into it, because maybe you were just kind of holding hands with your buddy, or kind of having your arm around your body because maybe you just had a very good best friend at the time and you were just being friendly with that person. But maybe from this person's perspective, they might have seen that as you being romantically involved with that person. So yeah, I think this person saw you as unavailable. If that doesn't make sense to you, I feel like there might have been there is something else I'm also picking up on. I'm also sensing, like, if that doesn't make sense, I feel like this person might have flirted with you when they first met you. The person that you're asking about were maybe flirting with you, and you might have rejected them a little bit, or said that you're not really looking for that sort of thing, or something like that. Or maybe you said, like, if you were in a relationship at that time, you might have said to them that you were in a relationship. So maybe that's the thing. But I feel like maybe I'm just sensing that if you were in a relationship at that time, I feel like this person felt less interested in you because you were in a relationship, but not completely. I feel like this person didn't completely lose hope just because you were in a relationship. I think this person felt like that was maybe a challenge, like that it was just not an obstacle, like just a bump in the road, and that maybe they could, like, that wouldn't just completely that didn't completely mean that they didn't have a chance with you, like that they felt like there still was an opportunity here. So I think this person assumed, like, if this person saw you with your boyfriend or girlfriend when they first met you, if they saw you holding hands with someone, or like, I think they assumed that you were not in a good relationship with that person. I think they thought that maybe it wasn't such a long shot to actually break you two up, because they thought, oh, this relationship is hanging by a thread anyways. So I think this person just felt like they could just easily just swoop in and kind of push it. Like, I don't know. If that doesn't resonate with you, then just ignore it. But But yeah, I think I'm gonna shuffle a bit more about this person's first impression of you. So with the King of Pentacles, I think this person's first impression of you was that you were with someone. Like if you're a woman, you might have been with a King of Pentacles at the time, and so they might have just seen that, like when they thought of you, or like at first, like they just thought of you as someone who's with someone else. Like if that makes sense, but. So they focused on that. They focused on the obstacle that they needed to kind of get rid of. So their first impression of you was very much tainted by the fact that you were in a relationship. So yeah. With the Five of Cups reversed, I think this person saw you as, like, this person's first impression of you was that you're a very optimistic person, a very positive person, someone who gives everyone a chance, someone who's very, someone who doesn't get disappointed easily. That you act very chill when things don't go your way, like you don't get hot-headed if something doesn't turn out exactly as you wanted to. And I think this person felt like that was the opposite of themselves. Like, so I think this person saw you as very compatible with themselves, because they might have had some insight about themselves, like some kind of, yeah, self-awareness, that they knew that they had a tendency to overreact a little bit when especially when things didn't go their way. And I think they feel that way still to this day. I think they feel like they might have that they could learn something from someone like you, who has a better way of dealing with things that are out of your control. Like, I think this person is a bit of a control freak, has a tendency to want things to be a certain way, or want their way to always get through. Like if they have if they have something they want, they don't want anything to get in the way of that. And yeah, I'm gonna shuffle a bit more about what their first impression of you was. The Emperor reversed. I think their first impression of you was that you were maybe more submissive than dominant, that you were maybe slightly more, yeah, maybe more keen on throwing over the control to somebody else. And maybe that is also why they didn't think the relationship between you and the person that you were with at the time. Like if you were in a relationship at the time, but if you weren't in a relationship, then you probably just looked like you were in a relationship with someone that this person assumed was a dom, like a dominant person. And I think they might have felt like maybe you were too dominated by that person, or that this person, I think they felt like that was the first red flag that they noticed. So they knew that they could swoop in and steal you from that person, because they felt like, oh, that person is just controlling you, and that they are that you're trapped in that relationship, and that you don't even know it, that how trapped you are. Like that there's something about that they felt like you were trapped in a relationship, and that they just needed to make you realize how trapped you actually were, and then you would give up on that, and then leave that person for this person for this person that you're asking about, like that you would leave that person for them. And I don't really know why, because this person might even be quite dominant themselves, and so I don't really know what they can give you that would have been different from what you were experiencing back then. And I feel like this, I don't know, but maybe it is different. I don't know. Maybe this person is actually a good guy, or a good girl. I don't know the gender, but maybe this person is actually. Maybe I feel like this person might have like a good agenda, but it just doesn't really translate very well. It's like this person, because there's some thoughts here that's coming through, that of course it's inner thoughts. So these inner thoughts were never supposed to come out. And of course it's like, I feel like maybe at first they had like this kind of cunning idea of just breaking you two up. Like if you were in a relationship, or if you seemed very, very intimate with a friend, and they assumed that you were in a relationship with that friend, I think they just, they had a like some kind of agenda of breaking you two up, because they wanted to swoop in and be the savior of the day and kind of steal you. And that's not very gentleman-like, whatever the gender is, but it's not very gentleman-like. But they, I think in a way they had like I think they just really liked you from the get-go. Like from the first time they met you, I think they found you very attractive, like a very positive person, that you seem to have like a very good spirit and very good way about you, that seemed very also very relaxing and very calm, and very like, and you didn't make a fuss about anything, and you seemed like a very chill person. I'm gonna shuffle and see what, I'm actually gonna shuffle some of these archetype cards, just to get a bit more information about what their first impression of you was. Okay. Mystic reversed. So I think this person saw you as not very mysterious. That they felt like they could figure you out, and that's maybe a bit like, I feel like that is slightly arrogant, but I guess this person just felt like you were an open book, like that they could, or at least that you were an open book to them, like that they felt like even at the time where you two hadn't really talked that much, like maybe you hadn't even had a full-on conversation, but they still felt like, oh, they knew that they knew who you were. maybe they felt like they knew you from a past life or something like that. But I think they also just, but this is the mystic reverse, so maybe not. But I think they felt like they knew you and they knew what was best for you, because they could read you. They could read what you needed, and like that they knew what was best for you. And I think in a way they felt like what was best for you was to leave your partner and be with them instead. And so that's of course very very fortunate for them to have but yeah, it's like they are yeah, I think they also just felt that you were very direct and very open to them and very honest. Like, even if you hadn't talked that much, but I think the small conversation that you had with them at first, maybe it was a longer conversation, I don't know. But I feel like this person felt like you were very honest and very very bold with your answers. Like you didn't seem to have anything to hide. That you were very very direct. So yeah, I'm gonna shuffle some more cards about what their current impression of you is at the moment. So what is their current impression of you, group number 2? Okay, with the Hermit here, it seems like some of you have actually recently been that you've recently gotten single, that you're maybe yeah, I know it's very specific, so if that part doesn't resonate with you, just ignore that part. But I feel like for many of you, you've recently turned single, or maybe it has been a while since that happened, but maybe the person that you were with at the time, or the person that you were dating at the time when you first met, the person on your mind, the person that you're asking about, like then like that, the person that you were with at that time is maybe someone who's in the past now, someone who's an ex now. And maybe you are actually happy that you got rid of that relationship. Maybe it was a bit of a toxic relationship, and maybe you didn't notice that much, as much as this person that you're asking about. It seems like this person knew it right away that this was a toxic relationship, but they weren't in it. So like, of course, it's harder to see that you're in a storm. If you're in the eye of the storm, then you don't notice the storm. Like, you don't notice that it's a scary place to be in, like, or that it's maybe not the best thing to be there. But so yeah, but yeah, I think this person called it a little bit, and maybe their impression of you now is kind of that they called it, like that they knew that this relationship that you were in, that was not gonna last, and they might kind of still be a bit what's it called when someone is kind of being a bit loud about being right about something, that I don't know, but yeah, I think they see you as, like, I don't know if you're in a relationship with the person that you're asking about, I guess maybe some of you are in a relationship with this person, and maybe you just want to know how they saw you when you two first met. But I think for many of you, maybe you aren't in a relationship with this person, the person that you're asking about. But yeah, this person sees you as someone who is single. With a Wheel of Fortune. With the Wheel of Fortune, this person sees you as someone they want to take a chance with. Someone who is who's worth the risk, like that. Someone who, yeah, they definitely see a big opportunity in you, like that they would want to win you over, like that it's a big prize to win. So yeah. They definitely have a very bright look on you, like they see you as someone they really want to be with. Yeah, so with the Nine of Wands, I think currently, like at the moment, they see their impression of you is that that you are very strong, that you've been through a lot in your life, and maybe you've also been through a lot in your past relationship or something like that. But you've had a lot of maybe tough experiences that have toughened you up and made you the person that you are today. But they also realize that I feel like this person actually has empathy for you. So even though this person seemed like this person seemed like the type of person who would see everything as a means to an end, like the type of person who would do anything just to get what they want in life, and that they wouldn't mind if someone got in the way, and they would have to off that person to get to what they want, but not offing them. I don't, but I think that was kind of my first sort of impression of this person, that this person is willing to do a lot in order to get what they want. But I feel like this person actually has a lot of empathy for you. Maybe not a lot of empathy for all people in the world. I think they do see some people as a means to an end. Like some people are just pawns, like the game, like in chess and stuff. Pawns, I think, yeah. But I think this person actually is very sorry that you've had to experience the things that you've experienced in your life. I think they in a way they would wish that they could have spared you from that, in a way, like that. So I think they have a lot of they at least they have a lot of sympathy for you. They feel very badly about what you've been through. Like they feel sorry about it. With the Eight of Wands, this is a card about swift communication. I think this person sees you as someone who is good at texting back very quickly. That you seem very... Maybe they also feel like you seem quite interested in them. Like maybe you if you are in a relationship, then of course this person is interested in you. But if you're not in a relationship with this person, if this is just someone you're asking about, maybe then I think this person sees you as someone who seems to show interest, because you seem like you're not acting like you're hard to get. Like you're not acting that way. Like you're actually texting back quite quickly, and you text maybe you text them a lot, or like yeah. But this card is also about falling in love, and I think this person is in love with you. And I dare to say that because I feel like this person has, like, since they first met you, they have wanted to be in a relationship with you. They found you attractive since the first time you two met. So it doesn't really come as a surprise to me that this person is in love with you. But yeah, maybe it comes as a surprise to you, I don't know. But yeah, with the Fool, I think this person sees you currently as someone who's very happy-go-lucky. You're still the positive person that you were when they first met you. I don't think their impression of you has changed that much since they first laid eyes on you. Like they still have the first impression of you, and I think they also kind of are a bit like this person is the type of person who seems to read people very well, and they seem to be right about their first impression quite often. And that's probably also why they knew that the person that you were with at the time when they first met you, they knew that person was bad news. And I think it's just because they have this feeling about people. But that also makes sense now that this person's first impression of you is very, very similar to their current impression of you. It seems like they still see you as a very very positive, very very glass half full instead of glass half empty type of person. That you're someone who is full of life, full of good energy. That you look at the bright side of life, and that you might sometimes end up seeing people in a too good light, like too bright of a light. Like when I feel like maybe this person feels like you're too keen on giving people second chances, that you're too nice to the people that aren't being nice to you, that you see the good in people, and maybe you shouldn't see the good in all people, because some people might not be as good as you think they are. But I think this person might see you as a bit too good for this world, like that you're too nice, but that you sometimes fall victim to the wrong people, but that you're a very good person, and they could tell from the first time they met you that you were a very good, kind, like good-hearted person, with a lot of very giving energy, a lot of very just a very bright and light person, very all around nice and sweet, and yeah, unique and special, like a pure energy. And so yeah, and special in a good way, not in a but special to them, like that you could become someone who would be special to them, that I think they also just felt a very strong chemistry, but right from the get-go. So yeah. But I think that's all I have for you, group number 2. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 3. You chose this Miss Cleo's tarot deck, and I'm going to start with some channeling, and then I'm going to shuffle the cards for you. So I'm going to do the channeling now. So Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 3 about the person on their mind? How was this person's first impression of group number 3? What was their first impression of group number 3? What was the person on group number 3's mind's first impression of group number 3? Okay, so I'm sensing that this person's first impression of you was that that you initially seemed like their type physically. That, like, I feel like their first impression of you is very much about physical appearance, and I think this person saw you as exactly the type that they usually are attracted to. So and I feel like that's about body type. So your body type, the shape of your body, it's what they are are looking for, or and that was their first impression of you, was that you fit very well into their ideal of what the object of their desire needs to look like, and that you fit very well into that. So but I'm gonna shuffle and see what the cards have to say about what their first impression of you was. 7 of Swords reversed, and 2 of Cups, and 10 of Swords reversed. So with the 2 of Cups, this person's first impression of you was that they could see you two intimately get along, like that they could see you two in a... I feel like this person might have even fantasized about you sexually when they first met you. Like they might have kind of had a bit of a glimpse of what it would be like to be in bed with you. And so it's very like, and if this person is not someone you're romantically interested in, then choose another pile, because it seems like that's where this reading is going. So if you're asking about someone else that you're like, if this is, I don't know, but I do feel like this is a very fiery sort of connection, or that was what it felt like from the get-go. A lot of chemistry, at least from the person on your mind, like the person that you're asking about. That person definitely felt some chemistry here, some sexual chemistry. They were very attracted to you, and yeah. With a 7 of Swords reversed, I think this person's first impression of you was that you're not the type of person who would cheat on them, that you seem like the loyal type. And that they saw you as just very honest, and maybe like if you two had a conversation together when you first met each other, I think they just got this impression of you that you were very honest with them, that you seemed very direct, not direct but direct about yourself, like that it didn't seem like you were hiding anything, that you were being very open and honest. With a 10 of Swords reversed, I think this person's first impression of you was that you were maybe healing from something, that you had been through something difficult, but you were healing from it, that you were recovering from something. But I also think this person felt like you had a healing energy on them too, that you seemed like the type of person who could help them also get back on track. Like if this person had similar issues as you did, then I think they assumed that or they felt like maybe you would be a good couple, because you have struggled with the same things, and so you could help each other getting through that. That in a way it would be therapeutic to be with you, because they would have someone on their side that could also be their partner in recovery, or partner in getting through whatever this is. But yeah, I'm gonna shuffle some of these archetype cards, just to get a bit more information on what this person's first impression of you was. Okay, so with the Saboteur card, I think this person might have seen you as someone who struggled with an inner saboteur, that maybe you had some things that you were recovering from that might have been self-inflicted in a way, or something that or I know this might not resonate with all of you, but it might resonate with some of you, so I'm just going to say it. But yeah, there might have been something that you had issues with, that was a bit of like self-sabotage, or something that you needed to get help with, or something like that. Or that you opened up about that with this person, that you have, maybe you told this person that you have a track record of getting into some bad relationships or toxic encounters with people, or something like that, or that you had something toxic from the past that you kept, that have shaped you as a person, and but yeah, but if you were in recovery at the time, then that makes a lot of sense. Like if you were in rehab at the time when you met this person, then that would make a lot of sense. But I know that's very specific for some of you. But yeah, but I think this person felt like they had some of the same issues as you, so they could see themselves in you, and they could resonate with a lot of the things that you said about your own life. They could, yeah, they could see themselves in some of the stories that you told, and I think they, yeah, I think that was the first impression. Maybe you, like, if it's not something like rehab or recovering from something, like, then then this could be that this person met you in school, like, or in the university or something like that. I know that's specific for some of you, but and it will not resonate with all of you. But if you met this person while you were studying, then this person might have felt like you were sabotaging your education by not really taking it seriously, but that you were very and with the teacher card being reversed, this could also make sense in that. So yeah, if that's the case, like if this is someone you studied with, then maybe they felt like you weren't taking it seriously enough, that you weren't studying enough or reading enough, that maybe you also didn't have the best relationship with your teacher at the time, that your teacher might have been a bit rough with you because you weren't doing all the things that you were supposed to do, or that you were maybe getting into some or maybe you were speaking up about some things during class or something, and disagreeing with the teacher or something like that, and maybe they felt like that was you sabotaging your education by speaking up and being bold enough to disagree with the teacher, and that you were maybe taking too big risks by not just saying what the teacher wanted to hear, which was probably what all the other students were doing. So maybe they just felt like you were being a bit reckless by doing that. But I think they all but they were very attracted to you when they met when they met you the first time. But I think like this person, and I think they liked you also when they got to know you, but I'm gonna get to that also. But yeah, this is what I'm getting about this person's first impression of you. Now I'm gonna move on to what this person's impression of you is currently. What is this person's impression of you currently? What is group number three's, the person on group number three's mind? What is this person's current impression of group number three? Okay, the world. So this person thinks the world of you. They see you as someone who's I think they see you as someone who's really grown into yourself, like that you seem to have overcome a lot of things in your life, and you have just gotten to this point where you are very unapologetically yourself, that you don't seem to be bothered when you're maybe like that you don't see that you seem to be a bit more bothered by what other people thought in the past. When they met you the first time in the past, they might have felt like you were maybe a bit, or that you gave people a bit too much power over you by being so preoccupied with what they thought about you. But I think they feel like now you have changed into a much more like confident person that doesn't seem to be bothered by other people and their opinions and what they might say about you and stuff like that, that it doesn't really matter to you anymore. That you also seem very confident in your body, that you don't seem to be maybe they felt like you were a bit hiding yourself away in the past, that you were maybe, like, I feel like you were very honest and open in person, like when they talked to you, but I think they felt like you were hiding your body away with too much clothes, or like that you might have been wearing a jacket inside the house or inside the school or wherever you worked, like if it was a colleague of yours or whatever. But I think this person might have felt like it was a bit strange that you were hiding your body in a lot of layers or something like that. And maybe they feel like now you're more confident in just showing your body and not hiding it away with a lot of layers. So I'm going to shuffle a bit more. With the Sun card, I think this person just sees you, like their impression of you now is that you're a very happy person, very like that you have found your happiness, you've found your joy, you're much more light and bright, like like your personality seems just much more like it's just coming through a lot more, like I think you were very honest about who you were, and I think you were very true to yourself before, but I think you were more might have been more like I think you needed to be asked before you shared information about yourself. Like you didn't want to just share information without being asked first, because you didn't want to overshare and make people uncomfortable. So you waited until people asked you. But I think you've gotten much more like maybe you've gotten to the point where you share what you want to share with people without being too afraid that you're being too much or be oversharing or something like that. But also just that this person sees you as very positive, very full of life, that you seem to be more like, maybe before you seemed a bit more tense, like maybe you didn't want to dance or something like that because you didn't want to look stupid or something like that. But maybe now you're much more like, you have this happy-go-lucky energy where you're just doing whatever feels right instead of always just overthinking everything. It seems like you're getting to a point where you just do the things that you want to do and allow yourself to also do some random things sometimes, like maybe doing a little dance when you're happy or something like that. And where before maybe that seemed like odd behavior that you didn't want to impose on other people, you didn't want to make people uncomfortable, and you didn't want them to think you're insane. And so I think this person has just, they just find you to be very authentically you, a very genuine person, very keen on making other people happy and sharing your joy with others, and kind of just lifting the energy of the room and making people comfortable around you, but also making people uncomfortable sometimes if it feels right. And I think that is because I think you had a misconception of what would make people uncomfortable before. I think you just assumed that people wouldn't like it if you did this and that. But I think at this, like, I think now you know that people don't really people don't really get uncomfortable that easily. Like people like it much more when people are just being their authentic self and allowing themselves to be a bit weird sometimes. And like, I think so with the 5 of Staffs reversed, I think this person's impression of you currently is that you're much more you're maybe much more of a pacifist than they originally thought you were. Like that you're not very combative at all, that you seem very chill. And maybe they kind of thought in the beginning that maybe you're someone who's chasing a thrill, and that you're maybe chasing maybe they first thought of you as someone who would maybe rather find a bad boy or bad girl to partner up with, that you might have given off this vibe that you were more into that type of person, that you were looking for someone on a motorcycle with like I don't know, like someone who that you were looking for a different type than maybe I don't know if this person is a bad boy or bad girl type, the person that you're asking about, maybe a little bit, but maybe they have realized that now. I think they thought you were more into like the thrill of being in a slightly problematic relationship. That I think that was just a thought they had in the beginning. Maybe they had that thought because of their own experience. Like maybe they had dated someone like that before, where it was where they felt like, well, maybe they even had an ex who broke up with them because they found someone on a motorcycle instead of them. And so maybe they knew the type at the moment, and maybe they just felt like, what if you're one of those who are into the thrill of being in a toxic relationship or something like that, even though I think you're the opposite of that. But maybe if you told this person about a toxic relationship you had in the past, they might have thought that since you allowed, I know that that's a bad word, but since you allowed that to happen, I know you didn't allow it to happen, that's the wrong word to use, but I think this person felt that you somehow allowed that to happen because they felt like maybe you were looking for that thrill, maybe because they had an experience in the past of someone who was looking for a thrill, and maybe I don't know, I don't think you allowed that to happen. Don't get me the wrong way, and I hate to say something like that because it's very it's a little distasteful, but I kind of get where this person is coming from. I think this person is just mimicking other people's cliches. Like, I think this person might have heard that from somebody else. Like somebody might have told them at the time that about women who were just chasing the thrill and just looking for a bad boy or bad girl or whatever. And so maybe that was kind of imprinted in their brain, like that was something that they were thinking of at that time because they had recently had a conversation with someone about that. So so it might just be very it might be understandable why their mind thrifted over to that topic. So but with the 5 of Wands, I think they very quickly realize that you're not that type of person because you're very that you're not looking for drama. Like you're not someone who gets tangled into drama. Like if there's some drama around you, I think you just walk the other way. Like you don't engage in it. You don't seem to be interested in maybe even gossip. Like if people gossip about something, you might be the first to say that you don't really want to get involved, and so you don't want to hear about it because you don't want because it's not something that interests you or something like that, or that you would rather talk about someone if they are in the room to defend themselves. And so I think this person has just another, like they were I think they were proven wrong very quickly. They realized very quickly that you're not someone who's just chasing a bad boy, bad girl type. So because it seems like you're more interested in a simple connection, like that isn't filled with too much drama, and you like it. I think this person feels like you like it when things are just smooth sailing, and like when people just get along, like if that But this person looks at you in a very high regard, and I think this person really likes you. They think the world of you. They see you as like the sun, like like a warming energy in their life. A very like they also see you as someone, like, because this sun here, like the sun has a lot of arms here all around, and I think this person feels like you're someone who's always keen on lending people a helping hand, and being there for everyone, and that you're very helpful and very giving, and also just very like someone who has a lot of balls up in the air, like that you seem to juggle a lot of things at once, that you keep yourself busy, but also like with this man here being very strong, here, and he's also on a bull here, and so like there's I think this person just sees you as a very strong person, and that you're very resilient, and and maybe also that you're stronger than they initially thought you were. That could be both physically and mentally, like that you're physically stronger. Maybe they kind of assumed that you were a bit weak when they, or like physically, that they might have, like when they first met you, they might have offered to lift something for you or help you with something, because they might have assumed that you couldn't lift it on your own or something like that. It's a bold assumption, but it's something I think they just assume that, like especially if this is a man, they might just assume that all women are kind of weak, and so they just assume that all women need help with heavy stuff, like or if they have a jar that they need to open, like they just assume that women need help with stuff like that. But I think they have realized now that you're plenty capable of doing that stuff on your own. That you're so yeah. So yeah, I think that's all I have for you. Group number 3. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one, and have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 4. You chose this Grunge Tarot deck, and I'm going to start with some channeling, and then I'm going to shuffle the cards for you. So I'm going to do the channeling now. So Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 4, the people who will choose group number 4? The person on group number 4's mind. What was this person's first impression of group number 4? Okay, so I'm sensing that the first impression of this person was that this person liked you, but they kind of got the feeling that you didn't like them back. And I feel like this person didn't really know why, but I think they assumed that maybe you were playing hard to get, that was the reason why you were acting a bit aloof and a bit reserved. Because this person felt like maybe it wasn't so bold to assume that you were into them at first, like when they first met you. I feel like it was already kind of established in a way, because I don't know why this is, but I feel like when you two met each other, you had both kind of agreed on going on a date or something like that. Like if this is a Tinder date or or just someone you met online, or maybe you were set up by a friend who set you up with someone, like a blind date or something. And so I think this person just assumed that when they first met you that you would like them, because why would you agree on a date with them if you didn't already have some feeling of potential there, that there would be some kind of potential there. But I think this person felt like you just didn't give it a chance, that you didn't seem very that you seemed a bit like you had kind of doomed it from the start, or something like that. Of course, if this doesn't resonate with you at all, then just ignore that part, because that part could have been specific for some of you. So but I feel like for some of you, this was a date that you had when you first met this person, that their first impression of you was on a date, like a date setting. And I think this person just felt like you were not very accepting of them, or not really, but they felt like there was a part of them that felt like maybe you were just being like kind of mean to them because you liked them, like that it was like banter, like maybe even some kind of romantic banter, like, or something like that. They felt like maybe you were just that it was that it was like the equivalent to when children, like when they pull each other by the ponytail, and that it's like that they felt like the person that you the person that's the most mean to you is maybe the person that is the most into you, or something like that. That kind of logic might have gone through their mind, that maybe you were just being hard with them because you secretly liked them very much and was very attracted to them. I don't know if that's true. It could have been. I'm also sensing, like, for some of you, like, if this wasn't a date, I feel like this person that you're asking about was maybe someone you were someone that you knew from another friend, and you might have befriended that friend just because you wanted to be nice to your friend by befriending their friend, like that you wanted to have an open mind and kind of accept this person into the friend group or something like that. And maybe you told this person that the only reason why you were talking to them was because somebody because you didn't want that the person that you were friends with, who were all that you didn't want that person to be mad at you, that you were kind of befriending this person as a favor or something, and that didn't make this person feel very good. And I know that's very specific for some of you, so just ignore it if it doesn't make sense. But because I feel like there's a lot of different scenarios in this group, like it's a variety box here, and I'm just trying to pull something out for everyone, like so that it makes sense. But yeah, but this person felt like you were playing hard to get, like but I'm gonna shuffle and see what the cards have to say about what their first impression of you was. Okay, with the Hierophant and the Hermit, I think this person felt a bit like like you were a bit stubborn in your own ways, a little bit, with the Hierophant being Taurus, and like there's a bit of a, I feel like this person tried to kind of get on your good side, tried to kind of melt you a little bit, and I feel like this person felt like you were a bit ice cold when they met you. Like it was hard to get through to you, because it seemed like your mind was so fixed on on the fact that they felt like the fact that you felt like they weren't really your type or something like that. That there was some kind of disappointment, like especially if this was a date. I think this person felt like you were a bit disappointed, but they tried very hard to win you over, and I think they just felt like the more they tried to convince you that this was actually a good match, the more you kind of pulled away from them. So with the Hermit here, I think this person felt a bit like you didn't have an actual desire of making it work with them. Like if it was a date, I think this person felt like you were just on the date for the sake of somebody else, like that you weren't really, that it seemed more like your mother or your father or your sibling or someone in your family had told you that you needed to get out and put yourself out there and find a date and find a boyfriend or girlfriend so that you can start having children and start having a family and start the next chapter of your life. And so I think this person just assumed that, which is a big again, it's a bit of a bold assumption, but I think this person assumed that you were just dating for the sake of dating, not for the sake of finding love, that you were just doing it because you felt kind of forced to do it, that somebody had forced you to get out there and put yourself out there, and that you were maybe not really looking for love yourself, like that you were maybe more keen on just being single with the Hermit card. So yeah. And that you were maybe looking for flaws in them because you didn't want it to work out. That they felt like you two were completely compatible, very, very, very matchy. So they didn't really understand why you were being so negative about it, because they thought you two seemed to hit it off very, very nicely. So yeah, it's like they felt like you were just being pessimistic because you didn't really want to commit to anything, and maybe they even thought maybe that you were actually super into him or her, but that you didn't want to face that because you didn't want to actually get in a good relationship, and then like that it was maybe they just assumed that you had some commitment issues or something like that, that you would rather be alone and be single, and that this was maybe just touching something too much, like that this was too perfect actually, and that they thought of themselves as such a perfect counterpart for you, and that you maybe had thought of them as such a perfect counterpart, that it was scaring you away because of how perfect it actually would be to be in a relationship with them, and that's a bit silly. It's a bit, I feel like that is kind of stretching it. But I'm gonna shuffle and see what their impression of you is now. Okay, with the Three of Pentacles reversed, I think this person I think this person used to put you a bit up on a pedestal before, like I think because they saw you as kind of or they saw themselves as at least as a perfect counterpart for you, but they also saw you as like they were interested and into you. But I think that interest, like if there hasn't happened anything since then, since you were on a date with them, like if nothing has happened, or if you've had a few dates but they were all kind of the same, or like not, if there hasn't been any development since then, I think this person might have kind of realized or kind of come to the conclusion that maybe they put you up too high up on that pedestal, that maybe they thought of you as like maybe they gave you too much credit or something in the beginning, because maybe, and with the Three of Swords, I think they have gotten their heart broken a bit by the fact that you might have ghosted them or something like that, or maybe you assumed they ghosted you, and so you just might have blocked them because you thought they had ghosted you. But I don't think they had. I think they just didn't text you back because they weren't quite sure that you even wanted to be with them, and maybe they had another thing going on during that time or something that they needed to kind of get closure on, or they might have felt like they needed to close that in order to start something new, and maybe they even closed that because they felt like they had found someone who was quite interesting, and maybe that was you. And so maybe I'm not saying that's like I feel like that's very specific for a few of you. It really doesn't apply to all of you, so don't be too scared that this person has made too many sacrifices for you. But I think this person has, like, I think for most of you, this person might have done like some kind of sacrifice in order to be with you, but then fallen flat on their ass because you actually ended up not being interested. And maybe you look back at it now as maybe a bit of that maybe it was a mistake to first of all maybe assume that they ghosted you when they didn't, or if you ghosted them, then maybe you have realized now that it was maybe a mistake, but I don't know if it even was a mistake really, but because sometimes it just doesn't work out, and especially if you're like, I don't know, sometimes you have to go with your gut feeling on something, and if your gut feeling was that it wasn't really working out, then it's okay to just walk away. Maybe not ghost the person, maybe give the person some kind of explanation, but then again, like sometimes it can be very hard to explain to someone why, and sometimes that can even make you a target and put you in a very, very bad situation where this person is gonna maybe maybe attack you for putting them in an embarrassing situation. Like sometimes it's easier to ghost, and but I don't recommend ghosting. But I do understand why sometimes that feels like the best resort, like the best way to deal with it if you're afraid of the person taking it, like becoming very what's it called? Like, yeah. I don't know. But I'm not saying ghosting is a good thing. I'm just saying that I understand why it sometimes feels like the right thing to do. But of course, it's never right. But I'm just saying. So with the Queen of Pentacles, I think they feel a bit like, okay, this is someone who's a puppeteer. And so I think their impression of you might be that you're a bit of a puppeteer. And that's not a good thing. But that maybe they felt like you were a bit like toying with them, like that you were playing them like a toy, that you were playing games with them, that you were giving them like like playing hard to get, and then realizing that like maybe they felt like you were playing hard to get at first, and then they felt like you maybe liked them at some point, but then you ghosted them, and so they might feel like they got a lot of mixed signals from you. Maybe you didn't send them any mixed signals. Maybe they just picked up on some things that could have just been kind of like when there's like what's it called, what's it called, the whole like when there's like an illusion, like when but a fata morgana or something like that. Yeah, that it's kind of like that. That they might have seen what they thought they wanted, what they might have seen what they wanted to see. Like their mind might have been the one that was playing tricks on them. Like maybe you weren't playing tricks on them, but their mind was. And so they thought they might have picked up on some signs from you that might have or might not have been right. But at least now they feel like maybe they were played a little bit or something like that. That they were played for a fool or something. I don't know. With the Chariot, I think they feel like they've moved on a little bit from this. I think, and I think they feel like you have moved on from this too. So I think if they were asked now, I think they feel like this was something in the past that you both have moved on from. Maybe they also feel like they have their own life now, and like things turned out fine, even though this happened. Like that maybe they even feel like that this was meant to happen, because because if they, like, I think that they feel like their life would have maybe been very different if you two had started dating like officially. That maybe that would, or commit, if you two had committed to something together, that maybe they feel like they would have lost some opportunities for something else. Like maybe they are in a relationship now, and they might think it was okay that you two didn't hit it off, because then they wouldn't have met the love of their life or something like that. But if this person is not in a relationship right now, I think they might just feel like if they had hit it off with you, then maybe they wouldn't have had the opportunity that they had in their career, because maybe that needed them to kind of move away and be more mobile. And so maybe they feel like that would have been hard to do if they were in a committed relationship. If they had settled down with someone, then it wouldn't have been easy to move around. So maybe they feel like it was a blessing in disguise that this happened, or something like that. With the Four of Swords, I think this person, like, even though this person says that they've moved on, I think they still kind of think of you sometimes. Like, they think about whether you think about them. I think they might lie in their bed and wonder whether you are thinking about them too, or that they might wonder if you ever wonder what could have happened if you two had actually hit it off. So it's still in their mind, like they still think about it, but they claim that they have moved on, and so yeah. But I don't know if they are just claiming that just because it's like easier than having to go through that again. Like I don't know. Like, if you ask them out again, I don't think they would be completely rejectful of that. But unless they are in a relationship right now, then they would be rejectful. But I think if they are single right now, and then I still think, like, if you want this to happen between you two, like if you want something romantic with this person, which I feel like is not something all of you want. Like, some of you might want it, but I feel like there are also some of you that don't want anything to do with this person. But if you want it, I think this person would think about it. They would maybe be afraid of getting hurt or something like that. Even though, like, I don't know why they are afraid of getting hurt, because I think you also got hurt in this. Because I think, in a way, I think, at least for some of you, I think you felt like you were the one getting ghosted. But this person does not think of it that way. Like, I think you felt like you were left behind a little bit. But they feel like you left them and just got away and never contacted them again. And so they feel like it's a bit of a ghosting, and especially if you've blocked this person on social media or something, then they definitely think you're the one who blocked them, and so that it makes you the villain in this story, even though maybe you had a good reason to. But I don't know the details of this. I'm just and it varies for all of you. I feel like the details vary quite a bit. So yeah, but I do think this person thinks about you rather often, like, or at least sometimes think, like they lie in bed and think about the possibilities that could have, or what it could have been, or like I don't know. So yeah, they think about you currently. So yeah, that's all I have for you, group number 4. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 5. You chose the Omegaland Tarot deck, and I'm gonna start with some channeling, and then I'm gonna shuffle the cards for you. So I'm gonna do the channeling now. So Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 5, the people who will choose group number 5, about the person on their mind? What was the person on their mind's first impression of group number 5? What was their first impression of group number 5? Of the people who will choose group number 5, what was this person's impression of them? Okay, so I'm sensing that this person's first impression of you was that you were very very nice and very caring, and that you seemed maybe, I don't know why, but I feel like this person's first impression of you was that you were maybe a bit too much of a doormat, that you let people just walk all over you a little bit. I don't know if that's true though. Like, that's their first impression of you, and that could just be one incident that made them feel that way. And if this was the first thing they saw of you, then that might have been what they expected what you to be all about. But I think you are the type of person who actually can speak up for yourself, and so I think this person just kind of maybe misread a situation, or maybe they didn't misread it, but they might just have seen you in a situation where you didn't really want to you didn't want to rock the boat, like you didn't want to steer any drama, because maybe there was some kind of incident, like something that had happened that had made everybody kind of go, like, I don't know why I feel like you were in some kind of setting where, like, when you met this person first, I feel like you were surrounded by a lot of people, like there were some people that you were talking to, and I feel like it was some kind of social event or something like that, or a party or something. And I think there might have just been an incident right before this person got involved in it, where things had kind of gotten a bit heated, and so you didn't want it to be heated again. So you just might have been a bit like, maybe you acted a bit like a people pleaser. But I think it's just because this person didn't know what had occurred right before. So they just assumed you were a people pleaser because at that time you were a people pleaser, but you were just a peacemaker, or like you were trying to keep the peace between the people involved that had just right before been in an argument that turned out to be heated. So I think, if that makes sense to you, but yeah, this person might have assumed that you were just agreeing with people on something that you weren't actually agreeing with, but I think you were just trying to be diplomatic, and you didn't, like, you might have agreed with the person who had just been yelling, like, and had just been kind of hot-headed and yelling over something, and then of course you don't want to trigger that person to start yelling again, so you might have just agreed that, oh yeah, that's a good point, where maybe you didn't really believe that it was a good point that this person was making. But I think this person just got into the like, this person just got to know you at the wrong time. Like, it really wasn't a very defining moment of who you were. And so yeah, I think this person's first impression of you was that you were a bit of a doormat. I think they realized afterwards that you weren't, but yeah, that was their first impression. So with the Five of Swords, I think this person saw you while you were kind of like, you were, yeah, this is actually quite fitting, because in the Rider-Waite, the Five of Swords is someone who's picking up swords after a battle. Like, and I think this person just saw you while you were picking up the swords after the battle. Like, there had been some kind of big argument going on like some kind of fight going on, and you were just picking up the pieces when you met this person, and you were just trying to just numb the situation and make it so that everyone was just friends with each other, that nobody got to the point where they would be enemies for life. Like there's a big, I think there was a big risk of just people just being so angry with each other that they just wouldn't speak to each other for years. And I think you were just there to address the situation and just make sure that everyone would go home at the end of the day as friends. And yeah. With the King of Swords, I think this person saw you as very, very smart, very intellectual, but a bit too adaptable. Like that you were being a bit influenced by the people around you. That you were, like, I think they felt like you were a bit too good for the people that you were around, like the friends that you were hanging out with. I think this person felt like you didn't really fit in to that crowd, that these people didn't seem to be up on your level, especially not intellectually. And so when you might have discussed some of these issues with them and agreed with them on somebody being a jerk or somebody being like, I don't know, that of course maybe you didn't agree on that, but you might have agreed on something just to keep the peace. Like, even though you might not have really been on that person's side, maybe you didn't really feel like it was the right thing that person did, but you just wanted to keep the peace and you didn't want things to just get heated again. And so sometimes it's also good to know when to just shut up and not agonize the situation any further. But yeah, I think this person felt like you were maybe talking to some numbnuts a little bit, or like that these people did not seem to be the crowd that they would have expected someone like you to be around. Like that they might have felt like you were a bit the odd man out, or that you standed out. I think they felt like you stood out from the crowd. Like you seemed like you weren't of the same breed as these people that you were hanging out with. With the Seven of Cups, I think this person felt like I think that their first impression of you was that you were maybe that you were agreeing with someone to the point where you were maybe leading that person astray. Because this card here, this is someone who's leading someone astray. Like this is a person who's saying, "Hey, come on into this cave. Like it's a lot of fun in here." But then there's like this big pit of acid that this person is going to fall into and die, because you can see that there's a lot of bodies inside this acid pool. Like and. Of course, I don't think this person thought of you that dramatically, but I think this person might have thought that, like, because this person seemed, the person that you're asking about, they seemed to have overheard a conversation that you had with one of your friends, where you were maybe just agreeing with them and saying, "Oh yeah, your boyfriend was a jerk. Yeah, totally toxic narcissist. I get it." And maybe you didn't really feel that way about that, but you said it because you just didn't want to get the whole situation any more heated than it needed to be. And sometimes it's okay to just, like, especially when someone is clearly in agony, like if someone is clearly very, very, very upset about their boyfriend or girlfriend or someone who hurt them, it's not the time or place to just start saying, oh, you know what, I actually agree with your boyfriend or girlfriend. You were also being a bit of a jerk to them too, and like that's just not this. It's just not the time. You have to wait until they like until they calm down, and then you can maybe get it sort of nicely throw it on the table, like just in a but it's a very fragile and delicate topic and sometimes it's really hard to disagree with someone who is clearly very upset, and I think this person that you're asking about might not be the most sensitive person, so maybe they just feel like, oh, you should have been honest and just said what you felt was like that you should have spoken your truth and told that person your true opinion instead of just agreeing with their nonsense. But I think this person just doesn't really realize the complexity of this, that it's really not that simple. But yeah, I think this person might be might be the type of person who just bluntly speaks some very, very, very bold truths to people and doesn't really care that much about whether they hurt people's feelings or not. Like, I think this person isn't very sensitive. Maybe not even to the people very close to them. Like they might be very blunt, and so they might see you as like, or they used to, like when I think their first impression of you was that you weren't blunt enough. You might also have had a conversation with someone who was maybe slightly delusional, like maybe not a friend of yours, but someone you met at a party, someone who you had like some small talk with, and you just wanted to talk to them because they seemed to want to talk to you, and maybe this person overheard that conversation, and maybe this person, like maybe you didn't really notice at first that this person was a bit wacky, a little bit, and then you just maybe realized it too late, and then you were too deep into it, like that it was just a bit hard to get away from the conversation, because now you had kind of befriended that person, and you were being a confidant to that person, and so suddenly you were in too deep and couldn't really just tell that person that person was insane. But yeah, I think maybe there was some kind of conversation you had with someone who was maybe a bit someone who might have been into some conspiracy theories, aliens, Illuminati, lizard people stuff, and maybe you didn't really believe in it, and maybe you don't believe in it, but you kind of just wanted to talk to that person, and you didn't really, maybe you hadn't really noticed that person was that type of person before they started talking about this, and then and then at that point it was just a bit hard to get out of that conversation, and so you kept you might have stayed for longer than this person felt like you should have. Like this person might have felt like you should have just walked away, and that you were just being too nice and being too understanding of this nonsense that this person was talking about, that you weren't being harsh enough, that you were just being being sweet and cute about it actually, but I think this person felt like it was a bit like that you should have just left, I think. And that maybe you were also leading them astray a little bit by not being harsh enough. That this person might have felt like maybe it would have been okay for that person to get some resilience, or like not resilience, but with some opposition. That this person, like they might have felt like that was maybe exactly what they needed, was someone to tell them, well, that is a bit insane and that sounds a bit ridiculous actually, and maybe you should rethink some of these standpoints and maybe get more out in the real world or something like that. But I think you're just not that type of person who would say that to someone's face, and I'm not the type of person who would say that to someone's face. I would also just sit around and stay in that conversation for 3 hours and listen to someone talk about about lizard people and Illuminati, and I would just be there. I would probably tell them that I also think the same, like especially if it's a very, very if it's someone I feel, if it's very hard to, like sometimes there are people who are very hard to disagree with. Like some people just have an energy that's very hard to disagree with. Some like Aries people, like people who have Aries as their sun sign, it's very hard to disagree with an Aries. And an Aries can also be kind of like Aries are usually very very logical, but they can sometimes also like all the zodiac signs, an Aries can also lose their mind like every other person, like every other sign can. And so sometimes if an Aries has lost it and then tries to what's it called, like tries to get someone on board with their ideas, like then they can be very, very persuasive. And so I would probably be persuaded into kind of agreeing with them on something that I don't really believe in, because it's just hard to just go the whole opposition route sometimes. Like so maybe you just started agreeing with someone who was a bit wacky, but it was just maybe just because you were being nice. Like you didn't want to stir up something, you didn't want to start something, like you didn't really see any point in that. Like and so, but I think this person felt like you should maybe have been more been more true to them, like honest with them. So with the 9 of Cups, I think this person, the person on your mind, the first impression of you was that you were very intellectual, that you seemed very accomplished, that you seemed like a very, very logical person. And that's also probably why they knew that you didn't believe a word that was coming out of that person's mouth. Like knew that wasn't, like this person knew you weren't buying into it, but they just could tell that you were just agreeing out of kindness. And this person could tell right away that you were very, very smart, experienced, that you had a lot, that you probably, this person assumed that you had a degree in something, like that you might even have had more degrees than one. Like this person really thought you were very educational and smart. So yeah. I'm gonna shuffle some more cards about how this person's impression of you has changed, or what this person's impression of you is now. With the Sun card, this person sees you as very like this person's perception of you is that you're very, very positive, very funny, and that you bring a smile on people's face, and that you have a lot of wit, like that you're very. I think this person saw you as very smart in the beginning, but I don't think this person realized how funny you actually are. And so that is something they have noticed since then, that you're actually super funny, that you can make a very clever joke that's very layered and has a lot of and works in a lot of different ways, and like jokes that you have to think about. And I think this person likes that it's a bit of a challenge. Like they feel special if they get some of your jokes, because they know not everyone gets them, because not everyone is smart enough to get them. And so okay, with the Knight of Coins, this person sees you as someone who's a bit someone who's very patient, and maybe the type of person who doesn't move very quickly, like that you take your time, that maybe also like when it comes to like if maybe this person, like if this is a romantic crush, or like if you have a crush on this person might kind of have a feeling that you do, but they don't really know because you don't show it, and they feel like you're taking your bloody time to actually show this, because it's like they have like this small gut feeling that maybe you could be interested in them, but since you're not showing it, they don't really dare to assume anything. Like they know also that sometimes you're just faking your kindness. Like this is something they notice right away, that you're very good at playing or not playing but acting. That you're good at acting understanding towards people who don't make any sense at all. So they know that you can put on a good front and put on a mask and make people actually, especially, but I think this was just, I think you do it when you don't want to hurt somebody. Like when you're talking to someone who's clearly delusional, there's no need to rub salt in the wound. Like there's no need to kick someone who's lying down. Like what's the point in that? So of course you're going to act kind towards that person, and maybe it's not even an act. Maybe you actually do have true sympathy for that person, but you don't want to stir up something with them. You don't want to completely rock their world by or not rock their world, but rock the boat. Yeah, because you don't want that person to get completely confused in their own delusion. Like and it's a like I kind of feel like that it's a different thing, but this person might. I feel like it's apples and oranges. I feel like it's two different things that can't. Like I think you act kind when you feel like it's the right thing to do. And I think the kindness is not acted, but I think that you might you might agree with someone, even if you don't agree with them, if it's the right thing to do at the time. But I think this person feels like if you can lie about believing in Illuminati and lizard people and stuff like that, if you can lie about that to someone who's clearly delusional, then you can also lie about feelings towards someone who's also maybe a bit delusional. Like maybe he feels like, I don't know, like I think he's a bit afraid that you're just playing nice to them, and that you maybe like deep down secretly don't even like them at all and don't agree with any of what they say. And maybe that you're just playing along. And maybe they are a bit afraid of just maybe having misunderstood the whole thing. Like maybe the person did from back in the day, the person who thought you were actually on their side about Illuminati and stuff like that might have kind of come to a bad realization when they realized afterwards that it was maybe all just pretend, a play of pretend. But I don't think that person actually realized that at some point. I think so. There's no reason for you to feel bad about that. But I think this person feels like if that person could have been played by a fool, then they could also be played by or played for a fool. Oh, sorry, played for a fool. Then they could also be played for a fool. So. With the Seven of Wands as how they currently feel, or currently how the impression of you currently is, with the Seven of Swords, I think they still see you as very, very smart. They haven't felt like their first impression of you has changed in the intellectual way, or the way that they felt like you were very intellectual. That is something they feel they have. Had confirmed, like this has been confirmed to them that you are indeed a very, very smart person with a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge and a lot to tell, and like that you're someone who's very. I think this person also sees you as someone who's very gifted at like explaining things to people and telling stories and yeah. This person could also see you as a very good writer or author, like if you've written something, or if you plan to write something, or maybe you have let this person read something that you've written at some point. And I think this person really found that to be very profound. And I think this person believes that you have a very very bright future ahead of you because you're very talented and very smart, and that you have a way with words, that you're very good at expressing yourself. So yeah, but I think that's all I have for you, group number 5. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below and find a guide on how to book a personal reading from me. And yeah, have a great day and bye.